Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Keep It Real. I'm sure you've been told, especially if you're over, say, like 50 years of age, you've been probably told to take a baby aspirin every day, which is typically 70 to 100 milligrams. Usually it's 81 milligram tablet. And this 81 milligram tablet has been always considered to be very safe, to be a really nice way to prevent heart disease and strokes and these kind of cardiovascular, atherosclerosis, hardening of the arteries. Take a baby aspirin every day. It's going to help to prevent these things. And now new guidelines have actually come out that say not only is that not accurate information, but a baby aspirin every day could actually be harmful. So these new guidelines were written by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association. So I was actually very pleasantly surprised that they sort of admitted this, and they had to admit it because it was based on a large population study where not only did it show that it did not, taking a daily baby aspirin did not increase lifespan, and it actually, in some ways, people with a little bit of a risk factor of bleeding issues, they actually have an increased chance of hemorrhaging. And if, internal organ systems are hemorrhaging, that's super bad, obviously. And so they've totally course corrected on this and taken an 81 milligram baby aspirin. They actually, the authors of the study say that they actually should not be prescribed on a routine basis. And actually, they say clinicians should be very selective of who you prescribe an 81 milligram baby aspirin to. And so it's just not a good idea. So it should not be taken as routine. There's only very specific cases where there's a significant chance of atherosclerosis and the person has like no issues of any kind of risk factor for bleeding or hemorrhaging, then maybe it might be okay. But they said particularly in people over 70 years of age. If you're over 70, it's really not a good idea for you to take a baby aspirin. There's a significant increased chance of hemorrhaging, and hemorrhaging can lead to things like strokes. Hemorrhaging can lead to things like internal bleeding and other issues that you really don't want. So the whole routine recommendation that everybody over a certain age should be on a baby aspirin has now been shown to be totally inaccurate. And I was very pleasantly surprised to hear that they actually talked about doing things like regular exercise, maintaining healthy body weight, avoiding tobacco, eat your veggies, lower your sugar intake. These were actually the recommendations, which was like, wow, because so many times we hear from these, big groups and even, American Heart Association, and they seem to be pretty tightly bound to the pharmaceutical industry, and there seems to be some kind of cross branding in a way, and there's a lot of medications that are oftentimes recommended for things that in our type of medicine, natural medicine, we can treat these things with natural medicine, with diet and exercise and supplementation, and the things that they're now recommending, lower your sugar intake. We know sugar and high carb diets are just so inflammatory. We know that inflammation is really at the root of heart disease, and other chronic conditions. We've talked about that many times in past episodes. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring this very current information to you because it's likely that if you're over 50, 55, 60, it's very, very likely that you're taking a baby aspirin. And you need to have a conversation with your doctor to say, hey, I heard about these new guidelines that were put out by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association, and they've totally changed course on their recommendations based on current clinical information, that it could actually be more harmful than helpful in certain cases to be taking this daily medication. It's not candy, it's not vitamin C, it's not something that you just take on a regular basis without any side effects whatsoever. So they've course corrected, and I just wanted to bring that information to you. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll keep reading the studies, bringing you the information. Until then, keep it real.